get live here. No, so Alex, I promised my viewers and all my followers that I would interview you today because I told them you were coming by, and I wanted to get your take on not just Game of Thrones, the final season, but Game of Thrones in general as a show, as a Hollywood thing that's being pushed today. So a lot of people were mad because I actually spoiled the last season. I posted all the spoilers on my separate account, so if people want to go and see it, they can see it. But I knew you were going to be in here today, so I wanted to get your take on why is Hollywood pushing Game of Thrones? Why are they promoting it as the #1 show right now?
Well, I want to be clear. I'm not judging anybody that likes Game of Thrones. My sister loves it. My mom and dad like it. A lot of my good friends like it. My children like it. The older ones. My wife likes it. I'm usually so busy in the real Game of Thrones, the real world,
Right.
that I don't have time to watch it. But I do find it to have good actors, and it's a quality show. But there's no doubt Hollywood's pushing all these race war movies, black against white, whites are evil and racist. They're also pushing women as the bosses, men as bad. I mean, that's been going on since Married with Children and Fox TV. But Game of Thrones, as we were talking before we went live, you're absolutely right, you asked my opinion. It's this postmodernist, everyone is in it for themselves. No one is good. Everyone has given up on chivalry. So it's really the opposite of an Arthurian, Arthur Pendragon, type legend, or the legend of...
Or take Lord of the Rings, Tolkien, right?
All of it.
Tolkien was the same way. Tolkien
It was about good against evil.
Good against evil, absolutism, the light side versus the dark side. Star Wars was like that, right? And even Star Wars, they changed it now, where there is no dark side, there is no light side. Anyone can be a Skywalker.
Which is exactly what the Emperor, that's exactly how Palpatine tricks Anakin to become Darth Vader, is telling him
that
there
actually is the postmodernism coming forward.
The dark side isn't just evil, it's saying everything. It's saying, oh, do what you want. That's why they actually tell you that in Lord of the Rings, when Sauron the White comes in and he wants to join with Sauron, Gandalf says, you've gone insane. He's pure evil. And he goes, oh, I'm now Saruman of many colors. Which is, again, we do whatever we want at any time. And you're right, it says postmodernist, where the left just especially doesn't care about facts, doesn't care if they're wrong, doesn't care about reality, doesn't care if stuff doesn't make sense, doesn't care if Jussie Smollett gets caught. He gets to do it, and now he's a hero again. Even I was watching Fox News the other day, and they had guests on there saying maybe he's innocent, maybe he's good. I mean, this is doubling down here.
Jussie Smollett.
Yes.
I mean, a guy who's been, we've got all the info. We have all the evidence. We got the tapes. We've seen everything on Jussie Smollett. But even Jussie Smollett could be good again because they want to break.
He
down.
lied for a good reason.
Right. He lied for a good reason.
End justifies the means, which is where you get Adolf Hitler.
And this is postmodernist, and this is what we have to fight against because this is what leads to totalitarianism. This is what leads to these things creating power.
And let's not lie about that. The left
devolve a society.
The left is now more pro-war, offensive war. They're now for killing babies after they're born. They have really adopted pure evil.
Yeah, we've seen this, and the way they justify it, they self-justify it, is by saying, well, we have a need. We have a need to do this because X, right? We have, we shouldn't bring a baby into this world because I don't want that baby. And who wants to raise a baby who's unwanted? So we just, we take care of it.
And they make a judgment. We don't resuscitate it. It's already alive. They're just saying we consider it dead, but if we wave a magic wand, now we say it has value, it goes on.
Right, and this is something, Game of Thrones, you want to talk about, dealing with babies, dealing with children, dealing with lives. Game of Thrones, they could care less about human life in there. That's actually, and the enemy, the big enemy in Game of Thrones, so to bring it back a little bit, is these guys, the White Walkers, and they're like
Zombies.
A zombie kind of crew. So we've seen this as well, that zombies are coming back. So
it's total dehumanization
right.
Everywhere, that the general public are all just a bunch of brain-eating scum.
And here's the thing is, too, how does a zombie work, right? It's not, the zombie can't kill you. The zombie touches you, and then you become, right? It transforms you.
So it's the authoritarianism.
Right.
It's the authoritarianism.
So it transforms you into one of them. Now you're following the White Walker Lord or whatever, and now you're one of them.
And that's the thing about the left. I've been here for 2 days in D.C. I probably shook 300 hands. But I've had about 50 people stop their cars or walk by and go, F you Russian, or screw you fake news liar, or screw you Sandy Hook, that whole misrepresentation of what I said.
So the left is like the White Walkers.
Well, that's the thing, is it's like it's choreographed. They say the exact same things. They flip us off. They never come over and talk to us. And they just literally go, ah. And so, yes, they've converted into a cult.
Alex, I have another question for you. Do you wear cargo shorts?
I wear kind of just soft briefs.
No, not asking about that. I'm asking.
I mean, I have cargo shorts. Oh, I don't even really wear shorts. I mean, I usually wear swim trunks, or if
you go in the pool. If you go in the pool. No, people. I saw in the comments people are asking about cargo shorts, but I wouldn't because people. I've said the cargo. It's not fashionable for men. It's not fat. It was the '90s thing. It's gone off. So I wanted to get your take on it. You remember those ones with the pockets on the side?
Oh yeah.
Like khakis?
No, I don't wear those.
You don't wear those?
No, not unless I was going to be like hiking through the woods and wanted to have ammo or something.
Yeah. But even then, if you're walking through the woods, what if there's like pricker bushes? What if there's thorns or something? Rocks?
No, exactly. I usually wear actually jeans.
Yeah, you want like a durable.
And then I have a fanny pack or something. Absolutely.
You would do the fanny pack?
Yeah.
You would do fanny pack?
I don't care. I'm not really into style.
Okay.
I should be, but I mean.
No, I'm just asking.
I wear whatever works.
You wear whatever works.
And a backpack kind of gets annoying, but a fanny pack you can kind of keep a couple clips in, magazines, whatever.
That's not a bad point.
You need to come down to Austin. We need to go shooting. But seriously,
I'll do it. Well, I'll come down. You can bring the fanny pack. I'll bring the ammo.
Exactly. But here's the good part about Game of Thrones.
All right.
People are totally distracted by it, and it also again creates this thing that everybody's corrupt, just like we saw with House of Cards.
Right, and so they want you to think that because everyone's corrupt, right? Hillary's corrupt, Trump's corrupt. It doesn't matter. The corruption itself doesn't matter.
And the truth is, Trump isn't corrupt. They've gone everything with a fine-tooth comb and found nothing. Trump is just, I think, a pro-America pragmatist, and the Democrats are the ones that are corrupt. And so that's why I think Trump has to go after them, because they've committed these crimes. And as he said, he has to go after them or they'll do this to other presidents or other elections. We have a clear and present, out-of-control group of people inside of our government that is still operating and must be removed. So I would describe the Democrats, as the zombie horde. That's really what they've turned into, and it's very, very frightening. How do you think we turn them around? What do you think happens? Does the country just keep polarizing and splitting more?
Well, we need a hero to rise up in the dark times, right? And so whether or not that ends up being Jon Snow as Donald Trump, or whether that ends up being the son of Stark becomes Jon Snow, I don't know. But you need to have someone to be able to say, I may not be for your family, right? It's not. So that's why you say it's not. The Republicans are a house, the Democrats are a house, but all of.
If we don't combine forces and defeat the Chi-Coms and the EU and the globalists, we're all done.
Right. So if we need to look at it as what's good for, so in the show, everyone's trying to come together right now to realize, hey, there's a zombie army marching down on us, and so we might not all like each other. We might all disagree over who gets to be on the throne at the end, but if we don't join together, the zombies are going to kill us.
And by the way, I know China's full of a lot of great people, and when I talk about the communists,
we're not saying China is zombies or anything like that.
But the EU's authoritarian. Europe's a lot of great people.
We're talking about authoritarians as an ideology.
Exactly. But the EU and China and the left are allied with big corporations. They are taking over the world. At Davos, they say this. China is authoritarian, has killed more people than Hitler did, oppresses their own people, and that's the operating system. Google and Apple have moved there. They are merging the code keys of Apple with the Chinese government. And so literally, if we had somebody like Hitler that we were merging with, we'd be in trouble. So people have to understand, this isn't fantasy Game of Thrones.
It's not about the people who are there now. It's about what someone in the future could use if they were using it for nefarious purposes. That's where we got Spygate from. That's where we got the spying on, because all of these tools were there, but it was that administration that decided to abuse them.
Well, let's take 5G. We have the Communist Chinese company that's coming in and has been caught spying. But our own companies are hooked into the NSA doing it. And so we've built a system that's designed to abuse people and designed to surveil people and designed where we don't control the internet, it controls us. And these technocrats, as they call themselves at Davos, rule the world. And so for me, I think the technocrats and AI, when it's out of control and not built for humans by humans, I think it becomes the zombie horde. It becomes the big Borg, to use a Star Trek analogy.
So the AI could actually be kind of like the White Walkers' technology. It's sorcery in the show, but in the real world, it's technology.
And it's programming people to talk the same, to act the same, to be surveilled.
And that's global homogenization.
To all be tied together and given the same orders at the same time. Because how does the evil Lord control the zombies? He has some invisible sorcery, but
right. And we're told in the show it's he sends out his magic, his telepathy, he has the magical messages, the Lord of Light, R'hllor, whatever. But in real life, that's just I can send a push notification to every phone that's hooked up to Apple, that's hooked up to Google. Now I have access to all of your phones. Root, right, on the operating system, how is that any different?
And then when human intelligence gets involved, it's libertarian or nationalist or free market, we start beating all the big AI and all the big databases and all the corporations. So their answer is just remove all the top nationalists, just like they do in China, or just like the EU does, arresting people now that criticize radical Islam. And so this is real authoritarianism, and the establishment of the world is fighting over who's going to control the AI frontier, who's going to control this Eye of Sauron, the Ring of Doom. And instead of, should we really be using the Ring of Doom, because it never turns things good.
It's whoever uses the Ring of Doom becomes the Ring of Doom.
Exactly.
Right. It's the Ring of Doom controls you, not the other way around.
And that's where we are with authoritarianism, and I think that's really the lesson of Game of Thrones. And Hollywood used to put out some good messages. Usually they can only put out mentally ill, sick messages to kind of destroy the idea of good versus evil, of the fact that there are clear differences in many cases in the universe. So maybe it ends with the zombies taking over and those kingdoms all just basically fall, and that's the end of it because they were weak and didn't join together. But the general public is so profane in the eyes of the elite, they'll just give up and have no hope with a show like Game of Thrones instead of realizing the message that people should have worked together.
Do you have a favorite Game of Thrones character?
I'll be honest. I've followed it in the news, and I've watched over the last, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, however long it's been around.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen episodes of it, but I never have time because the phone rings or I got to do an interview to follow it all. But who's your favorite character?
Personally, my favorite is the one guy, is the Hound, Sandor Clegane. He's not the biggest character, but you know why I like him, though? Because he's tough, but he's not a knight. He's a tough guy who fights for himself, and he's not afraid to tell the king to screw off. And he just walks away at the end.
That's what we need, is independent people standing up for what's right.
I like how he's independent.
I got mobbed on the streets by fans, but almost all of them said, we used to love you on air. It was so good to see you on the iTunes or on YouTube. Are you coming back? We're at Infowars.com. We're at newswars.com. Paul Watson's launched his own summit.news. We have our own videos. We have our own articles. They're trying to destroy us, but thanks to you and others having us on, Infowars is still chugging along. So we're there, folks. Tomorrow's news today, and so is this awesome operation that is exploding everywhere. So tell everybody about this awesome network.
One American News, folks. Stick here. We've got Alex Jones. And if you get Cloud TV, by the way, you can get One American News. And you can get Infowars, isn't that right?
And I'm getting a lot of listeners from that, and I see that Cloud TV is exploding.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you, sir.
Rock and roll.
Flawless victory.